Hello and welcome back to another MT Doctrine, and in this episode I want to finally talk about Michael Brown and the police. Now I've been avoiding talking about this because I wanted to establish a baseline for the videos on my channel. So you've seen a lot of different videos. If you've been watching my channel, then you see a lot of particular content that I've been talking about in regards to the human formula. I talk about common sense courtesy. I talk about the acts of human aggression. I talk about the types of human intelligence and a wide number of things. I talk about my personal opinion about issues, but I also talk about what really matters at the end of the day, and that it is a person's choice for how they act in the world, and that every choice that we make has risk and consequences. So I've been building all of that to start the conversation of really talking about neutrally about the issue with Michael Brown and the police that happened probably 2 months ago. The issue that has happened in Ferguson with Michael Brown and the police has really created a conversation across the entire country. It is the smoking gun, the case of all cases that proves that this country, that the United States of America, is divided racially, economically, and ideology-wise. So let me talk about this and present this with common sense courtesy, okay? So everybody knows what happened with Michael Brown, that he was unarmed, that he was shot and killed at least 35 feet away. Okay, so what did he do wrong that day? Well, the worst thing you can definitely say is, well, he intimidated a person and did a robbery, strong armed robbery. That's probably the worst thing that he did that day, okay? Okay, let me present you a scenario now. I'm gonna tell you a story of James Holmes. He walked into a movie theater with weapons, military grade weapons. He killed 12, 14, 15 people. He wounded 70 people. One of the people that he killed was a little boy. He surrendered, but he was not executed and shot 6 to 8 times. Very recently in the news, you heard about some guy running across the White House lawn into the White House. He was armed. He was caught or surrendered, doesn't matter, but he was not shot and killed 6 to 8 times. Now, bring in Michael Brown into the equation. This is why common sense is a very important aspect in this whole entire kind of debate, because you should see for your own eyes that if James Holmes, who killed, he said he had to kill people. He wasn't executed or killed. He was armed. That is why this country is up in a fury about this, because there's some common sense that's not taking place here with this country, which is clearly divided racially, economically, and with ideology-wise. So let's look at the facts here. Let's not worry about what people who support Michael Brown. Let's give the police the complete benefit of the doubt. That's the best way to have this conversation. So the police admitted of doing the shooting and the killing 35 feet away. Okay? Do you know how far 35 feet away is? I actually did the measurement, and check this out. I took a picture. So what you're looking at here is a picture, and basically from the camera to where this person is standing, that is 35 feet away. You're telling me that you had to kill someone at that distance because you were afraid, or because you were intimidated, or whatever is justified for you as a police officer, and he wasn't armed. You're telling me at that distance it was justified that you had to shoot and kill. The bottom line is that the police actions in this case was very, very poor. It lacked responsibility. It was not justified. It did not have common sense or common courtesy at all. And as a police officer, you're supposed to protect and to serve. You did not do that. It seems like that that their particular playbook indicates that they have to shoot or kill. They have to be aggressive in their particular actions. There could have been a lot of effective ways how they could have took down Michael Brown. And shooting him twice in the head, total of 6 to 8 times, is not that solution. It definitely proves that you are not responsible for taking care of the community. So this is my recommendations for what needs to happen next. And some of this is what people have been talking about. But when I first heard about what has been happening in Ferguson, my brain started analyzing this, and it became very clear what needs to happen. So number one, the police themselves, they need to always identify themselves. Basically with their name, badge number, whatever it is, they always need to identify themselves. Our tax dollars are paying for them. We have every right to get that information. Number two, every single police officer should be required by law to wear body cameras. So whenever they're interacting with anyone in the public, there is video that is being recorded. So if anything happens, so if the police at Ferguson said, well, Michael Brown, he hit me and then he ran off and I just shot him, well, at least we have some video evidence to show for it. Because in this particular case, we only have the police's word there. We have other witnesses there, but Michael Brown doesn't have his say of what happened. With body cameras, with video content, that can be put into police cases that can be used in court and to really understand what is the actual truth. But also, the police need to have better training. You're telling me that there is no non-lethal options to take down a perp? So the only option that you have is carrying a gun. Now, a lot of people are making the argument of, well, using a taser or using, that kind of stuff. It's not very effective. Then get better training. Invest in better non-lethal weapons. You're telling me that the only solution that you have is to shoot people that can potentially kill people. You're telling me that is a logical result? No, it's not. If the person is armed with a weapon, it makes sense. I'm not going to argue that particular point. If Michael Brown had a gun and he was pointing the gun towards you, you have to do what you need to do. No fault there. But he was unarmed. There needs to be non-lethal actions or weapons that the police needs to have at their disposal. And the same thing applies for people. You also need to protect yourself, because it's becoming very clear in this country that we need someone to protect us from the police. That's the impression that I'm seeing in everyone across the country. And keep this in mind, please. This has nothing to do with color. I know this is a very big thing about is black people versus the police. No, it's not. You heard about some Caucasian guy that was in Walmart with the police basically being very aggressively abusive towards him. He was white. What about some homeless guy who was on some mountain or hill, I don't know what it was, and some kind of group of, not police officers, but some type of police enforcement unit. They were shooting rubber bullets at him. Then they let the dog go after him. He was white. This has nothing to do with color. This is about the responsibility and the ineffective training that the police have. You have a responsibility. You need to make smarter decisions. The police are not doing that. So for us as citizens, we need ways to protect ourselves. And the number one that definitely needs to happen, and a lot of people are doing that, and you have every right to do it, is that you need to video record any interaction with the police. But tell them that. Have your little cell phone, do a video recording, and say, look, this is being recorded for, just for my protection and just for proper justice. And that sort of thing. You are entitled to have that. Simple as that, okay? These are public servants. Our tax dollars are paying for the police. Simple as that. So I personally believe that people need to start video recording any interaction that they have with the police Now, I'm not trying to promote this product because I don't like the design of it and the pricing is too expensive. But Google Glasses, that's a very great concept of having, you got your little glasses on, you can easily video record any interaction very quickly. And I also believe in something called cloud recording. So everything that's being recorded goes right up to the cloud. So if the police wants to damage the glasses or want to be abusive towards it, it doesn't matter. The content is in the cloud. So having video content will make the police be more responsible because that is very justified evidence. Okay. But the other thing about what people need to do as well is to follow what I talked about in another video. I talked about things that people need to do. And one of them is you need to keep your conversation to a minimum when you're talking to the police. Don't do small talk. Don't say anything more that it doesn't need to be said. They're not your friend, okay? So if they ask you, very basic questions, then just answer with very basic answers. Do not say more than what you need to say. The other thing that you need to definitely keep in mind is just give them what they are asking. Because basically what's going to come down is they're going to ask for your identification, your ID, your driver's license. If you got nothing to hide, just give them that information so they can go to their computer, type it in for any kind of priors or something like that. Okay, if that makes them happy, go for it. Now, I understand people have a very strong position of, well, I didn't commit a crime, so I should not have to give them anything. You can fight that battle, okay? If you want to fight that as a problem, go for it. But pick your battles, but that really shouldn't be one of them. And there's a lot of cases where people are doing that and they're putting themselves in very unneeded situations. So those are things that we as citizens need to do if we are interacting or engaged with the actual police. Okay, so this is my final message about this. What the police do, it is a very important job. The world contains evil because human beings are aggressive animals. We have very violent tendencies sometimes. We really don't click together. We really have problems coexisting. So the police is there to protect us from the other crazies in the world. Your job is very important, and you have to know that. But you have to understand there is a level of responsibility. There is common sense involved. Why would you kill someone that is unarmed? You're telling me there was no other way that you could bring down Michael Brown? There's nothing? You guys are making smarter decisions. And I really think that all this is coming from the training that the police actually have. Well, that is completely wrong. That needs to be wiped out and have a new program of new type of training that can make people in the communities feel safe and secure. Your job is to protect and to serve. It's a very important job, but there's also responsibilities for that. We as Americans in this country, we have given you the authority, the power to hold a gun and how to use that gun. We trust your judgment on that. But when you're just going around and just shooting anything that walks or talks or anything of a skin color that you don't like, it doesn't give you a good impression. It makes everyone get angry. And there's countless of stories where this has happened. Look, Michael Brown, he belongs in jail. He walked into a store. He did strong armed robbery. We saw the video footage. But it does not mean that what he did warrants death. Because if you think that, then that means there is probably a lot of people that deserve death, which doesn't happen. Think about this final point. Michael Brown, unarmed, he did not kill anybody, he did not wound anybody. He did commit a crime, he did robbery, okay? You have James Holmes walking to a movie theater, killing 12, 13, 14, 15 people. One of them was a little boy, I think he was 6 or 7 years old, excited to watch The Dark Knight Rises, and wounding 70 people. That's almost a total of like 100 casualties almost. And what about, that guy who basically went right into the White House, armed? So you're telling me that from those 3 people, Michael Brown did the worst crime of them all? From those 3, you're telling me that Michael Brown did the worst and that he deserved to get killed in this particular scenario? And that James Holmes, oh no, he didn't do anything wrong. Him killing people, him wounding people, killing a little boy, and him saying, people I needed to kill. If you're telling me that he did not deserve to die, but Michael Brown did, you do not have common sense. You do not have common courtesy. You are unintelligent. I'm done. So thank you for watching this video. I just wanted to communicate my opinions about this particular situation of Michael Brown and the police. This has nothing to do with color. This is all about that this country is very divided, and Michael Brown is the perfect case of that. We're divided racially, economically, and our ideologies. Liberal, based on conservative. It's night and day difference. And it's showing, in this case, it's showing America's true colors. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel of the MT Doctrine, and I will see you next time.